What in the shit? Yeah, I can see that I'm wearing the coolest hat in the entire world. Thank you for noticing. I really appreciate that. I also appreciate that the general consensus in the comments down below is that this is the best hat that all of you have ever seen in your entire lives, and no one disagrees because there's never any disagreement on the internet. So, without any further ado, apart from this sentence of me saying without any further ado, which is something that a lot of YouTubers love to say, they also love to say without being said. Let's get into answering the comments. What a great procrastinating intro. I've wasted 40 seconds of your time, and there's probably a smile on your face while I did it. Let's talk about this comment here. So, this is from EagleCloud9223. Y'all with your crazy usernames. So, this is on a video I did about this guy actually, and I pointed out that two of these guys, two of you from the comments section, had taken a bunch of action recently, and we sort of just celebrated your wins. And part of why I like to do that, I obviously do this with my coaching clients a lot, like every single day. We will celebrate their wins, celebrate what they've done. Every single week when we jump on a group coaching call together, we will sit there and go, all right, everybody tell us your biggest win for the week. What did you achieve? What did you work on? And then once a month, we have a big celebration as well. And we say, what is the biggest win that you had this entire month? Part of the reason why we really focused on wins and victories and all of that is because, guys, I say this all the time, and girls, this applies to you too. The self-improvement journey can at times be very lonely, and it doesn't have to be, but we can make it very lonely because we often feel like we're on this solo single player mission, which I guess in some ways you are. You are always in your own head. You are always sort of alone in that way. And then we form connections with other human beings so that we don't feel so alone in this void, in this universe, in this existence, in this thing called life. But at the end of the day, you know that when you go home and lay your head down on that pillow, or if you sleep on the fucking floor or something like my very interesting friend Tim does, when you lay your head down on that pillow or on the floor, you're alone. You're alone with your own thoughts. And a lot of people distract themselves from that, and they will self-medicate and watch TV all the time and jerk off to porn. And I've done plenty of those things too. But a lot of people will self-medicate and distract, but we are all alone in our own head a lot of the time, maybe all the time. And because of that loneliness that is sort of inherent in being a human being, this self-improvement journey, a lot of people just say, all right, this is like a solo mission. I'm not going to make a lot of friends. I'm not going to celebrate my wins. I'm not going to talk to other people about what I'm working on. I'm not going to form some sort of tight-knit community, which is what I did. And that's how I was able to achieve so much, especially with sex and dating, when I was very scared and alone and worried and all of that kind of stuff. I needed friends. I needed accountability. I had a forum, the Good Looking Loser forums, that helped me. I had a bunch of friends that helped me. I was never going to do that stuff on my own. That's why I have a fucking coaching program. And that is why I like to sit here and celebrate all of your wins, because this journey can be lonely. Again, it doesn't have to be, but a lot of you are down there in the comments right now or listening to this as you go about your day. You are playing on nightmare mode. You're doing this shit alone. You're not posting comments like this legend did and sharing so that I can help celebrate your wins. You haven't hit me up for a coaching, call or join the coaching program. You're not on any forums. You probably don't have any friends that you're talking to this stuff about. There are some of you that are really playing this hard, and it doesn't have to be like that. In fact, you're going to achieve 10,000 times more if you have people that help you. That could be me in the coaching program, could be a forum that you join, could be an accountability group, some friends that you find, but find someone that can celebrate your wins. I say this all the time. I swear to God, I say this at least once a week. Don't do this alone. So let's read Eagle Cloud's actual comment. Thanks, Andy. This meant a lot to me. Yeah, me celebrating his wins. I was feeling a bit down recently. Like I said, you feel very down when you do this shit alone because you have no one to bounce shit off. You don't have like a coach that can help you recontextualize things and pick you up immediately. Or you don't have friends that really care about you and love you and that will tell you everything's going to be okay. You don't have a forum or something that can form a little community with you. And Eagle Cloud, I don't know if you're doing this alone, but like part of the reason why, I'm sort of speaking more generally now, part of the reason why people feel very down for long periods of time and fall off the self-improvement wagon and don't achieve as much is because they're doing it alone. I don't know if you are or not, but if you are doing it alone, get some fucking friends, brother, or join the coaching program or find a forum or something like that. I was feeling a bit down recently, Let's just say I got an emotional gut punch recently. What is life if not emotional gut punches at times? And, things like my Play to Win video course and books like You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought and things like Buddhism and Stoicism and all of that, they help us deal with the gut punches that can come in life. But yeah, you're doing a good job, brother, and you did a really good job for sharing. He goes on to say, I took a few days break from everything. Brilliant. Sometimes taking a little bit of time off from self-improvement, even when we don't want to, seems like the antithesis of everything that we want to do. We're like, I can't take time off. Like, I'm going to be a loser forever if I don't fucking grind 24/7 and fucking I need to grind 25/8. I wish I could fit even more time into the day and work even more days in the week. I wish there was more time. But taking a day off can sometimes be the most productive thing that we could ever do. And a mission that I try and live my life by is, well, I don't always live my life by this, but I want to do the most productive thing I can in every moment. And sometimes taking a fucking day off and just playing video games or going for a walk and sitting in a park and meditating or just chilling with your friends and having a great time and showing yourself that life can be fun, sometimes that is the most productive thing. In other words, that is an act of self-care, self-love. Run yourself a fucking bubble bath, grab a bottle of red wine, don't drink the whole bottle, can if you want to. Pour yourself a big glass of red wine, sit in your bubble bath, and just fucking chill with some classical music or something. That's my idea of a good time without the red wine. But yeah, take some time to chill a little bit, and then you come back harder tomorrow. But if you're just grinding 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, to the point where you're not enjoying anything, like if you're using a lot of force and willpower and discipline on yourself, and you're not really actually enjoying the process, then at some point you'll just take a break anyway. Your body will be like, holy shit, I can't do this. You'll have a breakdown. That's why I focus so much in my coaching program and with all of you on finding ways to make your goals fun. Find ways to make the self-improvement journey really enjoyable so that you will show up every day or, 6 days a week. I like to take at least 1 day off a week. That's something I've done for years. I recommend all of you do the same thing. Take 2 days off if you want to go crazy, but at least 1 day off and have a little bit of time to show yourself that life is allowed to be fun. Goals don't have to be that serious, and this is allowed to be something you enjoy. So he goes on to say, to be honest, I really needed a break to reset my mind. Yeah, like I just said. Your words mean a lot to me. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, my brother, for sharing. Good job. All right, this next one was on a video that I did about some Mother Teresa quotes, responding to some Mother Teresa quotes, and the video was called You Have No Idea How Great You Really Are. And Mother Teresa, if you haven't ever checked out her stuff, she has some like fucking amazing quotes. A really good place to start with is just jump on Google, type in Mother Teresa motivational quotes. She's got some beautiful, beautiful quotes. So this guy, Penguin Zoom or Penguin Zom Zom, amazing username, says, thank you for this, Andy and Emmy. I'm on a self-improvement journey and a lot of what you are saying is very helpful. And we're all on a self-improvement journey. And I don't just mean us here watching this YouTube channel. Yeah, no shit, we're here for self-improvement. That's all you ever talk about, Andy. You talk about that and you talk about cool hats that you love to wear, and everyone agrees that your hats are really fucking cool. But self-improvement is something that we talk about a lot on this channel. But I'm not talking about us here. I'm talking about human beings in general. If you stop 100 people on the street and say, do you care about self-improvement and self-help and stuff like that, self-knowledge? Yeah, a whole lot of them will be like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like a lot of people will. I've asked people at parties and shit, do you care about self-improvement? They're like, no, I don't care about that. But if you say to them, hey, 5 years from now, do you want to have less money or more? Literally every fucking person, unless they've hit enlightenment or unless they're peaceful or unless they're really happy with what they have, which most people are not because they haven't practiced that. If you ask most people, do you want more money 5 years from now? They're going to say, yes. No shit, I do. If you say, do you want a more fulfilling relationship, either with your current partner or do you want a new partner? Do you want to find a partner? Do you want a more fulfilling relationship and sex life? Basically, everyone will say, yes, no shit, of course I do. If you say, do you want your friends to be kinder to you? And do you want to be in deeper friendships with your friends? And do you want, I don't know, more loyal friends? Like, do you want your friendships to improve? Literally, everyone will say, yes, no shit, of course I do. And so these are very fundamental aspects of being a human being, is that we want to make progress. We want things to improve, whatever improve means for you. We want to do more. We know we're capable of more. but often we just don't realize that there's a way to change. I talked about this a lot in the Play to Win video course. In this chapter here, the chapter's called Growth Mindset versus Fixed Mindset. And I talk about how a lot of human beings have a fixed mindset. And what that basically means is they think that their life is fixed. They're stuck. There's nothing they can improve. That's why you hear people talk about like, this person is a good person, that person is a bad person. Or I've never been good at art, so therefore I can't do anything. Or I've never been good with my body, like I've never had a good body, so I can't change anything. Like most people don't realize that their body is not fixed. You can grow it, you can improve it, you can lose weight, you can hit the gym, you can add more muscle. Most people definitely don't know that their mind is not fixed. They think that whatever feelings I feel is just how it is. If I get irrationally angry at people in traffic, that's how it's always going to be. If I fucking hate my boss, I'm always going to be stuck there and I'm always going to hate my boss because he's just a dick. He can't change. I can't change my mindset around how I view him. Nothing can be done. Like, I can't do anything. That's how most people live their life. Like, the vast majority of people live their life in a fixed mindset, and they don't know that. Like, even if you point it out to them, and believe me, I've tried. Spent the better part of like 10 years trying to help people. I don't do that anymore because it's not a good use of your time. It doesn't feel good for you, and it's not a kindness to the other person to try and fix them, But what happens when you try and explain self-improvement to someone who has a fixed mindset is the ego or the mind will double down on its belief and they will argue with you and they'll say, no, it's hopeless. I can't change. And you'll go, yes, you can. Everyone can change. Look, here's proof. Here's a bunch of testimonials from people that said they couldn't change. And eventually the person gets tired of that or goes, I'm not interested, or you're wrong, or I'm different. And then you go, you're not different. And they go, yes, I am. I'm really short. And then you go, so look at all these short kings that absolutely changed their life and built something amazing. They're like, yeah, but they're white and I'm slightly brown. And then you're like, okay, well, like, look at this short brown guy. And then they're like, yeah, easy for them. But I'm in my 30s now. And you're like, okay, but like, look at this short brown 30-year-old guy. And then they're like, yeah, fine. But like, they probably had good parents. And you're like, no, this guy actually had abusive parents and he was sexually abused and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, yeah, sure, but, and they'll just keep moving the goalposts. And eventually, even if you get them to say, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I do believe you that anyone can change. They won't change. Some of them will, but it's only the ones that actually came to you for help that'll change. But if you try and, I'm basically saying, if you try and impart your belief of a growth mindset on someone that isn't ready to hear it, they will just double down and argue and all of that. So the reason that I'm saying all of this is because you, Penguin Zomzom, are saying, I'm on a self-improvement journey. Let's sit with that for a little minute, all of us here collectively, and be really grateful for that. Like, isn't that an incredible thing that we all understand that our mind is not completely fixed? There are things that we inherited as a human being, like belief systems and thoughts and limiting beliefs and fears and doubts and all of that. There are things that we believed or have been put onto us, and then we innocently believed them from our parents, from school, from the culture and the countries that we live in. But we're allowed to rewrite that if we want to. We're allowed to let go of some of the things that aren't really serving us. We're allowed to reach a higher plane of fucking thinking, if you want to call it that. We're allowed to evolve and grow. We all know that. Isn't that an incredible thing to have been given, like that knowledge and that ability to change? Because again, the majority of human beings don't know that. They know they can change little things. Like they know if their partner starts abusing them, sure, I'm allowed to leave. Although some people don't even know that. But for the most part, they don't know that they can change the really big fundamental things. They don't know about stoicism. They don't know about enlightenment. They don't know about self-improvement. They don't know that if you're not happy with your dating life and you're not happy with the partners that you seem to end up with, you can improve yourself. You can look better. You can dress better. You can go and talk to more people. You can start working on that self-love stuff, and you can find a partner that really is what you're looking for and build something beautiful together. You can learn to love yourself first, and someone else would be a bonus to that. Like, people don't know that. Most people don't know that. Even though for all of us here, it's really fucking obvious because it's all we talk about. And for a lot of you, it'll be all you consume. You probably watch a shitload of my videos, then you go on some other person's channel, watch a shitload of their content, then you go read a shitload of books, then you do this. You probably bought my Play to Win video course. You're doing all this stuff. All that you see is self-improvement. Me too. Like, that's a lot of what I work on, obviously. But there are a whole lot of people out there, the majority, that walk around not knowing that they can change big things about themselves, and that if they're truly, really deeply unhappy with something, they can just walk away or change it or improve it or change how they view it or find a solution or reframe it in their head to be a good thing rather than a bad thing, like looking for the silver lining, or they can talk to friends about it and start working on it properly instead of just complaining, or they can, like I said, just walk away entirely from that thing. Most people don't know that. Like, how many times do you hear someone complain about the fucking weather? And you're like, you could just change your mindset about the weather or move to a different city. Or if it's raining all the time, take a fucking umbrella or learn to love the weather. Isn't it beautiful that we have all these changing seasons and changing weather, and it rains sometimes and it's hot sometimes, and different areas of the country or different areas of the globe, the earth, have different types of weather? Wow, isn't that interesting? Isn't that so cool? Like, you could reframe how you view it. People complain about the news and TV and politics. And I know in America, you all just had your election. And holy shit, people like to complain about politics in America, don't they? They like to argue about the left and the right. And they both say exactly the same things from the left to the right at each other. And they're both very angry. And they're like, you're the most evil thing in the world. No, you are evil. No, you. Nah, you. Nah, you're the worst one. You're literally Hitler. Oh, that's so funny because I was about to say that you're literally Hitler. Oh my God, maybe we're the same. That realization comes for some people. Same with like feminism and anti-feminists and, people who are against like men's self-improvement and all of that kind of stuff. Is everyone's just saying the same things at each other, and some of them eventually click and go, holy shit, you're just like me. I can't believe I thought we were different just because we believe slightly different things on a couple of very cherry-picked issues. Anyway, there are options. There are always options at reducing our suffering and moving towards a life of abundance and joy. And how beautiful is it that we can all sit here and know that? And some of you might not fully believe that. There are a lot of you in the comments right now, and a lot of you that hit me up for coaching, that don't fully believe that you can change. You think maybe I'm an exception. Maybe it's too late for me. Maybe I could change, but it might require a shitload of effort. And I don't know if I want to do that. Fair enough. That's why I talk about baby steps. That's why I talk about giving yourself permission to suck. I know that. I've done this for long enough. I know that a lot of you struggle to take that action and you feel overwhelmed. I've done so many fucking videos on this. Probably the most relevant one that you can all watch is this video here on my screen. You can just find it on my channel by searching for the word mountain. And the video is called Stop Looking at the Mountain. The future isn't real. The past is gone. The present is all we have. And I basically say, you're getting yourself overwhelmed by thinking about all of the things that you feel you need to change, all of the steps that those changes would require, how much effort it might take. You're looking at the mountain. You're standing at the bottom of the mountain, looking all the way up at the top of the mountain, going, holy shit, I can't do that. That's too much. So stop looking at the fucking mountain and instead look down, humble yourself enough to look straight down at your feet and say, can I take one step forward today? And yes, you can. I've done videos on how to do that too. If you search my channel for the word baby, you will find this video called How to Start Your Goals Right Now, Baby Steps Walkthrough. And I literally walk you through step by step the initial starting steps of a new goal, whatever the goal is. Doesn't matter what the goal is. I walk you through it. So you can just watch that video. You can also grab my Play to Win video course or hit me up for coaching or any of these things, and I will help you with this stuff. But yeah, it doesn't have to be this big, intimidating, scary thing. I get that a lot of you are terrified. I get that a lot of you are freaking yourselves out with how much you have to do. You feel like it's too late for you. And that's just a universal fear that most people have. I've had guys in their 20s, like literally 20-year-old men, tell me, it's too late for me. And it's like, bro, you're 20. You just got out of high school. You're like politely a baby. And I say that with love. Like, you are literally a baby. You are 2 years away. It was only 2 years ago, mommy and daddy were looking after you. Some of you in your 20s still live at home with mommy and daddy. You're not an adult yet. And I'm saying that to point out to you that you haven't even hit adulthood. And you're like, my adulthood life is over. It's like, it hasn't started yet. What the fuck are you talking about? You really hit your peak as a man, especially by the time you're 30. Women can hit their peak by their 30s too, depending on how much you're improving yourself and what goal we're talking about and blah, blah, blah. But guys in their 20s say it's too late for them. Guys in their 30s will say it's too late for them. Guys in their 40s will then say it's too late for them. Blah, 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 blah. You're saying the same shit. It's not too late. It's too late for you once you take your final breath. And even then, no, because you could let go in that final breath and go, and then find peace. You could find fucking peace and happiness, which is what you're all here for, really. That's all you give a shit about. You're actually just here for happiness. Aristotle said that. Everyone's just trying to maximize happiness. You're here for happiness. You could do that in the final fucking breath that you take on this earth. So it's never too late for you, like ever. But I get that sometimes we feel like it's too late. We have these limiting beliefs and these fears and all of that. Good thing I have a Play to Win video course where there's an entire chapter on how to overcome your fears, limiting beliefs, and self-doubts. But yeah, to really drill this point home, I am very grateful that we're here and that we know self-improvement. I'm grateful that all of you are here and that you understand self-improvement. Even if you have those doubts, that's okay. Even if you think it doesn't apply to you, that's okay. You're still here, you're still watching, and just by the very act of being here, you'll kind of get it by osmosis. Like just hearing me talk about all the clients that change their lives, all of you in the comments that change your life, me and myself and how happy I am and all of that stuff. And I'm not always perfectly happy. I make that pretty clear, but my life is pretty fucking nice and I'm very grateful for it. But the more I talk about all of that stuff, it'll kind of rub off on you. If you just sit here and chill for a while and watch a bunch more videos, like if you're new to the channel or if you've been watching for a little while, but you feel like you're doubting yourself and you can't do it, you'll just eventually get it. Like you'll just start to believe. That's what I did. When I was wanting to go outside and start hitting on women, I watched a whole bunch of, I guess you would call them like social experiment channels, but not the prank ones where they're mean to people. It was the ones where they'd like walk up to a girl and just be like, here's a flower. I hope you have a beautiful day. And I would just watch like thousands of them. I probably watched like 1,000 of those videos to work up the courage to tell myself that I could go out there and do it myself. Like literally with every video, I was slowly and slowly and slowly telling myself, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do what they're doing. They look really nervous. They don't look like they know what they're doing. They seem okay if a woman says no to them or tells them to leave or doesn't want to talk to them. They seem awkward and uncomfortable about it, but then they're okay. Maybe I would be okay too. And then I slowly worked up the courage and I started doing it. So yeah, I promise that you are all capable of change, even if you don't believe it. But I'm very grateful that you're here. I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that we know this self-improvement shit because most people don't. Alrighty, here's another one. So this was on a video called How Do I Take Better Photos for Online Dating, which is something that a lot of you sort of ask. And yeah, I talked through that. And with these kind of videos, like where you guys and girls say, how do I take better pictures? How do I improve my appearance? Why am I not getting any matches on dating apps? I'm playing on hard mode, trying to answer your question, because most of you don't show me any pictures. Like, I don't know what you look like. You don't give me like a Google Drive folder with all your pictures and stuff like that. So I'm having to fucking guess, like, give you really general advice. So I will say this again. You make this so much easier on me and more to the point on yourself if you just hit me up for one of those either $200 coaching calls or come to the freaking coaching program. We have payment plans. We have all of that beautiful stuff. I will work with you to make it work. But it's so much easier to coach you guys if I can fucking talk to you and see what you look like and tell you what to improve and tell you what pictures to take and tell you how to go out there and have that life of abundance and joy. It's really hard to coach people through a comment. Like it really fucking is because I don't know you. And so, yeah, that's just a general statement. So Phoenix says, hey, Andy, thank you for answering multiple questions of mine. You're very welcome, my friend. I'd love to have a coaching call with you, but I already did. So those $200 coaching calls that I offer are strictly one per person because it's extremely freaking discounted. Some of those calls go for like 3 hours. So at that point, you're paying like $70 an hour, slightly less than $70 an hour. Those are extremely discounted. And so I keep them to just one person for those of you that really need, some help or you're really struggling with something. And part of the reason why I do those is because some people, I sit there with them for a couple of hours, I coach the shit out of you, I pour my heart and soul into it, and some of you go, holy crap, dude, I think I want the proper coaching program. So it's worth it for me to offer them for $200. But yeah, that's why I keep them one per person. So he goes on to say, at that time, when I did that coaching call with you, I'd been planning to be in the group coaching program a few months later and to pay for some pictures and be in a way bigger city with more places to take pictures. So I didn't think to ask for a plan for doing it myself. Yeah, he's talking about on that call, he didn't ask me for a plan to do it all himself because he thought he was going to join the coaching. And having people wonder why I'm outside with a tripod. Yeah, that's a big fear that lots of people have, right? When they're like, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to take pictures of myself, but what if people see me with a tripod? I'll tell you right now, Phoenix, and any of you that have the same fear, which lots of you do, and you might have a fear of like, what if I go outside to hit on women and people see me? I'm going to say this with love, but this is like a really beautiful, if you can get this, this is really beautiful. You're really not that fucking important. That might sound like a harsh thing to say, but it's incredibly freeing. You're not that fucking special. People don't give a fuck. You think you're the first person in the entire planet to have a fucking tripod and a camera. No. There are news that, okay, across the road from me, like 2 blocks that way, is a police station. And I swear to God, like fucking twice or 3 times a week, there's a news crew outside the police station. Because if you're doing the news in the morning, it makes sense that if you're going to talk about crime and stuff like that, you would want the police station in the background. That's probably a great shot. It probably looks really cool. And so I swear to God, I see cameras and lighting equipment. They have a bunch of fancy shit, like cameras, lighting equipment, all this shit, like 2 or 3 times a week. At first, when I saw it, I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's interesting. And then that's it. I don't look at it anymore. It's not that interesting. That is how most people will be if you're outside with a camera and a tripod taking pictures of yourself. They will glance at you and be like, oh, isn't that interesting? I wonder what he's doing. And then that's it. You're right now afraid, and a lot of you are terrified, that it would be a bad thing if somebody wondered why you're outside with a tripod. Like you've done some massive social faux pas, and the whole of society is going to come together and be like, look at this fucking freak with a tripod. Let's go beat him up and bully him for being a nerd with a camera. Like, no. The vast majority of people will walk past and be like, oh, isn't that interesting? I wonder what he's doing. And that's it. And then they're not thinking about you because they're fucking busy thinking about themselves. Like you're really not that special. And what you're doing really isn't that interesting. And it definitely isn't bad. Like you're not doing something insane. You're not standing there with a camera jerking off or something in public. Then yeah, some people will wonder why you're outside jerking off. Or if you're having a mental breakdown, yeah, people might call the police. But you're standing there taking pictures of yourself with a tripod. You're really not that interesting, but I get that we have these fears when we do something that most people don't do. And the only way through that is to do it. When you do it a bunch of times, you go, oh, wait, actually, no one gives a shit. I'm really not that important. And you almost chuckle or you laugh at your own self-importance and the fact that you thought everyone was going to be looking at you and wondering why you're taking pictures. But most people glance at you for half a second and then look away. And maybe they glance back a second or a third time and that's it. And you don't know what's in their head, but you can go off what you have probably thought about other people that are doing something. And if you've been walking around as a non-judgmental person, which is something we're all working on, I'm working on that too, then you probably look at people with curiosity. And if you saw someone with a tripod, you'd probably be like, oh, isn't that interesting? I wonder what he's doing. Or if you go through life with a joy in your heart, you'd probably look at someone like that and be like, oh, that's cool. That's so cool. He's taking photos, like maybe he's even taking them for his dating profile. Whoa, I hope he finds an amazing woman. I hope they have a beautiful life together. Wow, that'd be so cool. And so you'd think positively. But if you've been walking around life as a very judgmental person, including judging yourself, a lot of us are our own harshest critics, and you might not realize it here, but you are literally judging yourself by worrying that other people are going to see you outside with a tripod. You're judging yourself as doing something bad, or you're judging yourself as weird. I'm weird, or I'm scared people will see me as weird. And that's okay. A lot of us are very self-critical, aren't we? Like, yeah, welcome to the human condition. Didn't give you any epiphany there that you didn't already know. But if you've been walking around as a judgmental person, which the vast majority of people judge other people and themselves, then yeah, maybe you have looked at people with a camera and a tripod and be like, oh, that guy's weird. Why is he being weird? And then you project that onto other people and assume that other people will see you with a camera and be like, oh, he's weird. Why is he weird? Why is he being weird in public? And so, with all of that, think about what I have just said. If you walk around as a very open-minded, open-hearted, non-judgmental, compassionate person, you would see someone with a camera and a tripod and be like, oh, that's cool. That's amazing. Or if you walked around as a very judgmental person, judgmental towards yourself or judgmental towards others, or a very insecure person, or someone that's very anxious and worried about people doing weird things, supposedly weird things, then you would see someone with a camera and a tripod and you would judge them and think that they're weird. And so it is not the act itself of being outside with a camera and a tripod. That's not weird. It's not good. It's neither. It's whatever the fuck you decide that it is. It just is. It's a man with a camera outside. That's it. That's the whole story. And then we put our judgments on it. We either say it's a good thing or we say it's a bad thing. This is the basis of this chapter here in the Play to Win video course called Everything is a Story and You're in Control of the Stories That You Tell. And I talk about how we can say an event is bad. Man outside with a camera taking pictures is bad or weird or creepy or strange or why is he doing that? We can tell that story if we want to. And some people that walk past you might tell that story. Or we can tell a story that a man outside with a camera and a tripod is cool as hell. Wow, a photographer, that's so amazing. And he's taking self-portraits. That's so cool. I wonder if it's for his dating profile. Wow, I hope he finds the love of his life. Isn't that going to be so exciting for both of them? And then imagine if I somehow ran into them years later and I could be like, I saw you taking pictures in a park. And then he'd laugh and I'd be like, wow, is that how you met your wife? And he'd be like, yeah, that's so cool. And that's probably not going to happen, but fine. Like, you could tell that story. And so whatever story someone decides to tell when they walk past you is none of your fucking business. Basically, what I'm saying here is a Byron Katie quote, which is there are 3 types of business in the world. 1, your business. 2, other people's business. And God's business. If you don't believe in God, fine, just say the universe. I just say the universe when I do that one. There's your business, other people's business, and the universe's business. You're trying to mind other people's business. You're literally saying, I need to worry about what other people will have in their head when they see me. That's none of your fucking business. Get back in your own head. Worry about, well, you don't have to worry, but focus on what you can control, that growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. You're right now sort of having a fixed mindset when it comes to other people looking at you with a camera and a tripod. You're worried that like, fuck, man, there's nothing I can do about it. There's a lot you can do about it. Grab my Play to Win video course and start studying it and doing it and practicing it. Read books like Loving What Is by Byron Katie. Read some Stoicism. You're very welcome to come to the coaching program. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, start working on that stuff. You're doing a good job. And I promise it's okay that you're afraid to go outside and take pictures. That's very, very, very common. But a lot of you are walking around minding other people's business instead of minding your own business, especially when it comes to approaching, like talking to women and saying, hey, you're pretty. Do you want to go on a date with me? So many of you are like, what if she rejects me? Mind your own fucking business. And then you might be like, but that is my business, bro. She'd be rejecting me. No, she wouldn't. She just said no. If I offer someone a glass of water and say, would you like this glass of water? And she says, no, thank you. That's not rejecting me. She just doesn't want the glass of water. So if I walk up to someone and say, would you like to go on a date with me? And she says, no, thank you. It's like saying no, thank you to a glass of water. She didn't fucking reject me. Even if she literally ignores me, that's her fucking business. She has the right to literally ignore me if she wants to. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. It might not be a kindness, and I don't go around, generally speaking, ignoring people as much as I can. I ignore some YouTube comments and stuff like that, but that's just, I don't have enough fucking time to reply to everyone. But some people are allowed to ignore you, or everyone's allowed to ignore you. Some people will choose to exercise that, and that's their business. It's not kind. We probably wouldn't do that ourselves, but that's okay. They can do whatever they want to. And so when we start minding our own damn business, like everybody is walking around secretly trying to mind everybody else's business. When we start minding our own business, it leads to happiness. It's literally one of the ways to be more peaceful is to mind your own damn business. People have been telling us that since the dawn of time, especially if you have some Karen tendencies. People are like, mind your damn business, Karen. But yeah, mind your damn business. Don't worry about what other people think. That's none of your business. But you're doing a good job, brother, and good job opening up about this fear as well. It's a very common fear that a lot of people have. So you go on to say, my plan didn't survive contact with reality. That's a funny way of phrasing that. I like that phrasing, brother. Yeah. The best laid plans of mice and men sometimes go astray. How many times have we come up with a perfect plan and then reality's like, no. And then we're like, oh, okay. So that's why we adapt. We find a solution to our problem. Sounds like you're doing that. You're doing a good job. Yeah, you say, I'm surviving off savings so I can go take my own pictures. Beautiful. Yeah, just grab your camera, grab your tripod. You might be nervous. You might be anxious. You might worry about what other people think. You might go out and just do one little baby step one day where you go out, you take 5 pictures, and then you go, that's it. I can't do it anymore. You go home. Brilliant. Good job. I'm not saying your fears don't exist. I'm not saying your emotions don't exist, but do your best that you possibly can to expose yourself to the thing that you're scared of, which is going outside and taking pictures. Go take a couple of pictures on the first day, take a couple more the next day, and just start practicing. Eventually you get to a point where you're taking 100 pictures every time you go out. Like, the more you click that shutter button and snap the pictures, the more likely you are to get a good one. But start small. Go out and take like fucking 5 pictures on the first day. Go out for literally 5 minutes when there's nobody else around. Like, you can baby step this shit. Go to an area where there's no people, and then you don't have to worry about someone seeing why you're outside with a tripod. Go to a park or something, or the woods, or I don't know where you live, but go somewhere where you're alone, take some pictures, and then slowly start exposing yourself to areas where there's a few people around, like maybe a few people walking their dog, and then just start slowly. Eventually you get to a point where you're taking photos where there's lots of people. Like, it took me quite a while to get to a point where I could be comfortable taking photos in front of other people. Like it took me, I don't know, probably 30 days of doing that. I did a 365-day project where I took a photo every single day. And it took me quite a while to get to a point where I could be comfortable with lots of people around. So baby step your way to that. But yeah, you're doing a good job, brother. Yeah, that's the end of your comment. So, my friend, I will say this to you specifically, but to anyone else listening, you're very welcome to hit me up. Bro, hit me up for an email. Like you're saying that you wanted to join the coaching program and that was your plan. Hit me up, email me, and tell me what you can comfortably afford to pay on a payment plan every single month, and I will work with you. Unless you say something fucking stupid like $1 a month. No, I'm not going to work with you for $1 a month. But tell me what you can comfortably afford without stressing yourself out, without getting yourself all like anxious about money and shit like that. Tell me what you can comfortably afford. And if you are serious, which you are pretty serious, if you're serious, I will let you in the coaching program and you can pay less per month. You'll still be paying the same total amount in total, but you can pay it off over a longer period of time. So if that's something you want, hit me up. That applies to any of you too that are struggling with money. You know, again, as long as you don't say something ridiculous like, I'll pay you $20 a month. No, I probably won't say yes to that, but you're still welcome to offer. Offer, and I promise I will be very nice. I won't reject you and tell you that you're dumb or anything, but yeah, hit me up if that interests you. All right, and here's a couple of comments from a community post that I made on YouTube where I said, have any of you ever heard of a TV show called The Good Place? It's my favorite TV show, one of my top 5, if not top 3 pieces of content or media or anything entertainment that I've ever, consumed. Absolutely fucking mind-blowing, amazing TV show. It starts out with a silly little premise, which is there's this female character played by Kristen Bell who died and is in the afterlife now, and she's in the good place. And they don't always use the word heaven, they call it the good place so that the show can be a bit more secular and not upset people. But it's called the good place, and she's up there. And in the very first episode, I'm not really spoiling anything crazy because it's literally the first episode and it's in all the descriptions of the TV show. So she's in the good place, she's in heaven, everyone's walking around, they get everything they want, it's amazing, it's perfect, it's beautiful, everyone's amazing. And right at the end of the very first episode, she confesses to one of the other people there in heaven, in the good place. She's like, holy shit, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm a bad person. I shouldn't be here. And the show goes from there. And I will not spoil anything. If you decide to watch this show, do not, under any circumstances, read or talk to anyone about this because they might spoil it. Do not read any spoilers. Like, the show is at its most beautiful when you have no freaking idea where it's going to go. And this isn't much of a spoiler, but there are so many plot turns and twists. If you're someone that likes plot twists, this TV show, holy crap, it feels like every season goes in a completely insanely different direction. And it starts out as a very fun, silly little TV show. It's a comedy at its heart. It's really quite funny. The characters and the actors and the actresses do an amazing job. It's a really entertaining TV show. It's really good to watch. But about, I don't know, probably by the second season, really, but by the second and definitely the third, and then holy shit, the fourth, the TV show starts getting incredibly deep. It starts touching on some really insane, deep ideas about Buddhism, about what it means to be in the world, about the afterlife, and it doesn't have all the answers. That's part of the beauty of the show. It just asks a whole bunch of questions, and it really gets you thinking. It gets you thinking about your own fear of death and your own impending mortality. It focuses on self-improvement. Like, the entire point of the show is self-improvement. Like, literally, it's a self-improvement TV show. It doesn't start out like that. It just starts out fun and silly. But there are elements of self-improvement in the first season. By the second, third, fourth season, holy crap, it's just only about self-improvement. And it's just such an incredibly beautiful show. And I must have cried like 50 times watching this show. And I've now watched it twice. And yeah, the second time I cried even more because I kind of knew what was going to happen and all of that stuff. It's just such an incredibly beautiful show. And there's a book by the guy who made the show. Also, the story behind this show. It was made by the same guy who makes Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He wrote a bunch of episodes and did a bunch of writing for the American season or the American version of The Office. Really, really, really creative guy. But he also wrote a book. And the story behind this show is he was trying to figure out in his own life, what makes someone good? What is a good person? What is self-improvement? Like, how do I live my life in a way that I'll get to the end and be happy with what I've done? And so he did a whole bunch of research and studied Stoicism and Buddhism and religion and philosophy and ethics and morality and all of that. And then he wrote a book on it and made this TV show to sort of talk through some of the things that he'd learned and his own struggles to figure out the meaning of life and all of that stuff. And you can find his book on Amazon. It's pretty popular. It's got like 2,000 reviews, 4.5 stars. It's called How to Be Perfect. And I love the image on the screen, the book cover, because the word perfect is cut off. Isn't that cute? And the title is a little bit tongue in cheek, but the point of the book is basically him trying to figure out, how do I be a human being? How do I do what I can do? And he talks through his ideas behind the TV show. He talks about his philosophies and things that he learned, how he doesn't have all the answers. He's a very humble, like interesting person. He's a very nice guy. He seems like very genuinely lovely. So yeah, in case you can't tell, I really love this TV show, and I highly recommend it to all of you who are looking for a TV show or something to watch. Even if you're not, holy shit, this show's absolutely changed my life in so many ways. Such a beautiful TV show. And so a couple of you replied and said that you liked it too. So one of you said, yeah, I loved it too. Another one of you said, yes, amazing show. Loved how it tackled the afterlife, which, yeah, is a fucking thing that most people don't want to go anywhere near, right? Like, because obviously people get very emotional with religion. They get very emotional with their fear of death. Those things can be very, very, very challenging to go anywhere near. And I found that The Good Place, the TV show, does such an amazing job of being very gentle with it. And so if you're an atheist, you will fucking love this show. If you are religious, you will love this show, especially if you're into like Christianity or Islam, which I just cover. Actually, every single religion gets touched on in parts, but without mentioning the religions. They do mention them once or twice, but they don't really go on and on about them. So they mention Hinduism at some point as well. So every religion gets mentioned. Buddhism obviously gets a fair bit of a mention there at the end as well. But if you're an atheist or you're extremely religious or you're agnostic or you just don't give a shit about the entire conversation, you will love the TV show because it also talks about ethics. It talks about self-improvement. And it's not preachy. A lot of shows like this, I could see how they might become preachy, telling you how to be a good person. The show never tells you how to be a good person. Like, it never tells you what to do. It's basically just saying, here's some questions. Here's what the characters are going through and what their journey is like. And then you finish by saying, this comment finishes by saying, and then knowing when to let people go. Yeah, it's a big part of the show. It's about letting go, and you're going to die one day and you can't control that and all of that stuff. So love the TV show. Recommend it to every single human being on the planet. And we'll do one final comment today. This one's from Mungfin01, who comments quite a lot. Brother, I see you down there taking action, kicking butt. I love this idea that all of your so-called observations of reality are really just a story and that you can change it by reframing it. Yeah, and that's nothing new. Stoics have been talking about that since the dawn of time. Descartes, the famous ancient philosopher, talked about how man or people struggle to... He had certain Latin words for it that I can't remember, but struggle to discern essence from reality. Sorry, essence from appearance. So if that made no sense, I'll rephrase that. Descartes basically said, we often look at the appearance of something, like something appears to be a certain way, and then we just believe that by default. Like, we're not very good at knowing if someone is lying to us or not. We all walk around thinking that we are. We're like, no, I have a great bullshit detector. No, you don't. How many times, like, we don't. How many times does a big scandal happen and it turns out that someone was secretly, like, doing some criminal activities or something, and you're like, oh shit, I had no idea. Or how many times do people find out that a partner is cheating on them or something, and they're like, holy shit, I had no idea. Like, we can't read other people's minds. Like, we have a very limited access to reality, I guess you could say. And our ego and our thoughts and our limiting beliefs almost always get in the way, and emotions cloud how we view things. Like, most people are not very rational unless you literally study psychology and maybe learn some Buddhism and some enlightenment and stuff like that, and start really, really, really trying to be as neutral or realistic as you can, and you start learning to love your emotions and let go of them and not be so angry and judgmental all the time. You almost have to take a crash course in like 10 different disciplines to start moving towards the point where you're a little bit more objective about reality. And I'm not there yet. I'm still working on this shit myself. This like probably going to take me a lifetime of working on this stuff. So most people are just not very realistic when they look at reality. Like, they'll cloud it, they will judge it, they will say it's like this is bad, like all of that kind of stuff. So we're not really that great at moving past our own stories, but that's something that we're all working on together. And something that'll help with that a lot is the Play to Win video course. That's a big part of the Play to Win video course. He goes on to say, I was literally walking around a shopping center smiling at strangers while listening to you say that. Isn't that incredible? That's fucking beautiful, bro. Like, go make people smile. Nothing brings me more joy than walking around smiling at people. I like to smile at as many people as I can a day. I probably smile like, I don't know, 50, 100 people a day. And I will say 50% of them smile back. And that makes me feel really nice. And the rest probably just don't see me or whatever. It doesn't matter. But 50% of people smile back, and that makes me feel super nice. I also have friends who choose to self-identify as autistic, ADHD, anxious, neurodivergent, whatever else. And that's beautiful that they do. Yeah, they can do whatever they want. But I personally choose not to identify with those ideas. Yep, me too, my friend. I even did a video about this. Because I prefer to not give myself any labels that my brain might want to use as an excuse for not crushing my goals. Yeah, absolutely. Every label is a limitation. Every judgment is a limitation. Some of you might hear that and be like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Just shh. Yes, it is. I never really ever pull that card on you guys and girls, do I? I never just tell you like, shut up and believe me. But this is one of those ones where it's like, I'm correct, you're wrong. Every label is a limitation. Every judgment is a limitation. And I did a video on this. You can just search my channel for ADHD, and I talked about I have ADHD, and this is a video on learning to love yourself. I'm probably on the autism spectrum, and I love myself with that too. And with the labels thing, labels can be useful at the start for a diagnosis if you want to. You don't have to. But you can diagnose or go to a doctor and get them to diagnose, and then you might learn what to work on, what to improve. But holding on to the label is a limitation. That's what I mean when I say all labels are limitations. You could almost phrase that as labels can be useful in the beginning for some people, but then at some point they become a limitation. And so what we want to do is transcend those limitations, transcend those labels. Eventually, you might want to get to a point where you stop even identifying as like, I am a man. And I'm not saying you become some genderless thing. Yes, obviously I have a penis and balls. That would define me as a man. But you stop walking around limiting yourself to just being a man, and you open yourself up to the wider category, which is I am a human being. And when I start walking around saying I am a human being, now I can identify a little bit more with women. I'm not seeing them as the other, the thing to be judged and the thing to be afraid of judging me. I'm not seeing them as something that I can't relate to. I'm now seeing them as we're in the same collection of human beings. You can do the same thing with race. Yes, I am a white male. I am a white, what would the fucking word be? I'm a white cis, that's what they say, right? I'm a white cis male. But like, what a fucking limitation. If I walk around saying I'm white, does that mean I can't have any black friends? My best fucking friend, one of my best fucking friends, a guy called Jimmy, absolute legend of a human being, he's from Nigeria. If I walk around going, I'm white, I'm white, I'm white, I'm white, I would literally be thinking that when I'm sitting there trying to listen to my friend open up to me about something, trying to have a good time with my bro, and I'm so focused on my race. And lots of people, especially in America, y'all are very racist. In a country that, like, I won't say y'all are very racist. The country of America has a lot of systemic racism in it. And I'm not talking about the racism that most Americans focus on. It's the low level stuff of like, I'm white, he's black. It's all the stand-up comedians that be like, white people be like, ha, black people be like, oh, isn't that crazy? Yo, we're all different, ha, ha, ha. If I'm trying to build connections with people, I don't focus on the differences. I focus on the similarities. And if I walk around saying, I'm white, or I'm tall, or I'm bald, or I'm a man, and I define myself solely by those things, especially stuff like I'm ADHD, I'm neurodivergent, I can't relate to normal people. If I walk around doing that, I limit the connection that I'm able to build with those people. I'm basically pushing them away, or I'm really pushing myself away, and I'm putting myself on a pedestal almost. And some of you do that in the reverse. You put yourself on a negative pedestal. You say, I'm depressed and I'm a piece of shit and I'm a loser and all of that. You go stand on an island by yourself and you say, I'm a loner, I'm a loser, I'm an incel, I'm a virgin, I'm a piece of shit, I'm too short, I'm too old, I'm too ugly, no one would ever love me, I'm all alone out here by myself. You push the entire rest of the human species away, especially the opposite gender, if that's who you're attracted to. You push all of them away and then you say, I'm alone. Why am I alone? Because you did that. You didn't mean to. And that is often the consequence of defining yourself by a label like ADHD, neurodivergent, etc. Again, these labels can be very helpful at the beginning. to get you to realize, oh shit, there is a condition, or my brain has a set of traits or personality traits that I am currently living my life by. What if I get in there and change each one of those? But a lot of labels with ADHD, especially the ADHD one and autism, most of the medical industry will just say, you have ADHD, you're fucked. Good luck. Take some medication, you're fucked. Same thing with depression, especially in countries like America. It's like, let's just give a whole bunch of medication to hopefully just suppress the symptoms. But yeah, we're not going to change anything in your life. So don't ever stop taking that medication or you're going to be fucked. And so I would rather get in there, and I advocate for getting in there and improving those things, figuring out, if you want to use a label, figuring out what character traits and personality traits you might have, and then working on them each bit, a little bit at a time. That's what I talked about in this video on the screen, the ADHD one. I literally listed out like 20 things that I've done to make myself, or to allow myself to be more peaceful, more calm, which is kind of the opposite of ADHD, isn't it? And that has been a very unique and not unique, because lots of people go through the same journey. But I will just say most people on the planet now, in Western countries especially, just have given themselves ADHD without meaning to, through social media. Like TikTok, Instagram, if you're scrolling, if you're doom scrolling, congratulations, that's ADHD tendencies. If you look through the list of ADHD tendencies or personality traits, and check all of that, a lot of you will be like, holy shit, do I have ADHD? That's why diagnoses are on the rise. So anyway, you look through all of those traits and you go, okay, do I want to improve some of these? I'm allowed to if I want to. There are things I can do. I can work on being more peaceful. Like, you want the fix to ADHD, go be a Buddhist monk. Boom, done, solved it, great. Takes some effort, obviously, but there you go. It's not like these things don't have solutions or things that you can improve, but people get into that fixed mindset, that very stuck mindset, and they go, I'm neurodivergent, holy shit, I can't do anything about it. And it becomes, as this very astute commenter pointed out, Mungfin pointed out, sometimes these labels can sort of hold us back from really trying, because we go, I'm neurodivergent, there's nothing I can do about it. Anxious, I see so many people on the internet that literally in their freaking Twitter bio say, I have anxiety. Like, they define themselves by that. That's the first thing that they're broadcasting to the rest of the world. I have anxiety. By that logic, fine, I stubbed my toe and it's hurting right now. My knee kind of hurts sometimes if I run. Like, do we want to just advertise that stuff and then define ourselves by that? How would you ever move through the anxiety and become a more peaceful person? Again, just study some Stoicism or some Buddhism, grab my Play to Win video course, go sit in a fucking yoga class twice a week. Any of these things will help you be a less anxious person. There's like a million other solutions too. But if we define ourselves by the anxiety and say, that's who I am, that's my label, that's my identity, that's my personality, then why would we have any impetus to change it? Why would you want to change? Like, most people don't like to change themselves. And so be very careful with what you label yourself with, because you are basically reinforcing it and all but guaranteeing that you will keep that behavior. And so again, I talk about this in the Play to Win video course, in this chapter here called Play to Win instead of playing not to lose. We're here to win. Why would we sit there and focus on the anxiety? We focus on it for as long as we need to start improving it. And if you want to use a label and say, I'm anxious or I have ADHD, fine, use that label, but use it for the purpose of improving it. Don't use it as a stick that you beat yourself over the head with without meaning to, every day, every week, every month, every year. Don't use it to define yourself and beat yourself down. Don't use it to lose. Use it to win. And then eventually you will transcend it and you'll let go of it and you realize, okay, I have no use for this label anymore. I'm done with being ADHD. I'm done with being neurodivergent. I still have some of the character traits and stuff like that, but hey, every human being is just trying to do their best and nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I'm just working on myself a little bit at a time. You practice self-forgiveness and self-compassion and self-love, and you realize the label has served its purpose. I used it to improve. I'm done with it now. I'm going to transcend it and move on. I'm going to start playing to win. But yeah, really beautiful comment there, my friend. I appreciate all of you sharing. I appreciate you sharing your wins. I appreciate you sharing your struggles. I appreciate you being here, all of you with that beautiful growth mindset. And like I said, if you feel like, let me get big and serious for a second here. If you feel like you can't change, you feel like you're in that stuck mindset, just start with some freaking baby steps. Get some help. I'm right here. I will help you in the coaching program. I will also help you in those $200 coaching calls. I will help you if you don't have any money. You can leave a comment below. I'm not guaranteeing that I will do a video for every single one of you. We're starting to get quite a decent number of comments, especially because I have a library of like 900, 800 videos now. The comments are really starting to pile up. and I can't always answer old comments and old videos, but I will do my best to help you. So I'm here. There are other people out there that will help you as well. There's accountability groups, there's forums, and all of that. But don't do this shit alone. You're just playing on hard mode. Get some help. I will run the little coaching outro at the end so you can check out the coaching program. Like I said, if any of you are really struggling with money, as long as I can see that you're very serious, I'm happy to slightly lower, not drastically fucking get rid of it, but slightly lower the monthly payment requirements that we have for the payment plans. And you're very welcome to come to the coaching group. So I'll leave a link in the description below to the coaching program. As always, ladies and gentlemen, go out there, crush those goals, and wear some fabulous hats. You've been sitting around trying to achieve your goals on your own, making a little bit of progress, but nowhere near what you know you're capable of. Time to get serious. Ravi got serious by joining my coaching, following in my footsteps, and creating his own kick-ass coaching business, motivating other people and changing the world. Joe had a ton of sex and learned to open up deeply with women. He started his own successful photography and dating business, quit his job, and he's earning lots of money. Jack went all in with his sex life, moved across the country to pursue his dreams, had a bunch of wild sex and a threesome, quit porn, and made connections in the LA party scene. Click the link to coaching in the description below. It's time to go all in with this thing and do this thing for real.